Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Monday with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, and it does feel good to be back after a week off. But every now and then, we all deserve a well-deserved break. So I think in this case, but as you see, my special guest, normally I had them on last month, is Janice and her daughter Tracy. Today, I'm just going to have Janice alone. And we were talking about sugar and other dietary laws, especially since Thanksgiving is coming up in a couple of days. So she will be our featured person for today. I am still experimenting with these screens, whatever the case is. But anyway, I decided to go with this one. Anyway, I want to let you know that today is Monday, the 24th of November. The sun is in Sagittarius, the moon is in the earth sign of Capricorn, Mercury is still retrograde until the 29th, but even then, there's going to be the shadow effect. It's an 11 universal month, a 6 universal week, an 8 universal day. So those who happen to be under the signs of Capricorn, Aquarius, or Libra, or if you are born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month, well, this is your time. Some of our sponsors is Recept, I should say. Please click on the code for a discount. I want to thank them. One of our other supporters is Numeralytics with Melinda Valentine. Just go to her website there or go to the phone number at the bottom of your screen to contact her. Also, since we're now in the fire period, we now have her journal. In fact, she's put out 4 journals for each of the signs. So now that we're in the fire sign, this is it here. So please pick it up at Amazon.com to get your copy. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn celebrating over 50 years of being in business on December the 6th, week after next. They're going to have an event in the morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. However, on that evening will be the celebration of Monique's birthday. She is born on December the 9th, but she will be appearing on my show on next Wednesday, December the 3rd, to talk about it and all the major accomplishments. Another supporter has been Dr. Uchenna Hackett of Nicholas Brooklyn. Dr. Uchenna Hackett, who just published Soul First. The book is out not only in ebook, it's in hardcover, and there's also a companion journal. So please go to astar8.com to the Amazon.com to pick up the book. Also, Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. She's just also published a book that's available on Amazon. Just go purchase, leave a review, take a screenshot, email it in, and along with your date of incorporation, she'll give you an assessment of your situation. And if you get the ebook, you will get a companion supplement to go with it. Also, Jazz Aphrodite's is online. Audible is available. So Knocking from the Inside. It's a very saucy book. It's the most, you have to, don't take my word for you. It actually needs to be put into a kind of a movie or a series. I kid you not. I don't know why Hollywood is sleeping on this one, but this one would go through the roof. But anyway, make sure you get that. Anyway, okay. Let me do this. So without further ado, I want to call in my very special guest. And I think people should be able to see me now. For last week or so, I think I figured it out. So anyway, I do want to bring on my very special guest, Janice Montague. How you doing, Janice?
Hi, Lloyd. How are you? I'm so happy to be back with you.
Fine. One of the things is it started out as just we did a session together, and I asked people now, which I never used to do, what do you do, or something like that, And then when you explained, it was so intriguing. And then health is a concern. I've always been kind of health conscious. And then when you talked about it, I said, would you like to be a guest on the show? To your credit, you said yes. Then you brought your daughter on. And it's been all uphill from there. Or I should say downhill. So this time, because Thanksgiving is coming in a couple of days, I says, let me bring you back because you have some interesting hacks. And there's also a screen that we're going to put up later. So now, give us a little background about what you do. It's so interesting. You said you taught your children not to have sugar for a while. I know that's almost impossible.
Well, when kids are young, you have control over what they eat. And so I wasn't necessarily teaching them. I was modeling for them what it looks like to eat healthy, right? And, they're sponges in so many ways. And so you take advantage of a child's appetite when they're young because they're growing rapidly. And a
Hmm.
child, if they're hungry enough, will eat whatever you put in front of them, right? For the most part, they will. And so I took advantage of that hunger to put the kinds of foods in front of them that I knew would nourish their bodies and help their bones to grow and so forth and so on. Now, once they got school age and they got exposed to their classmates and all these other kinds of foods that their classmates were eating, that was a whole nother challenge because now they want to be like their friends. They want
Sure,
to
of
eat,
course, of
right?
course. Hmm.
And so that was a bit more of a challenge, but we figured out a way to get them to understand that if you're going to be out and about, you can eat a little bit of what you see, but you do it in moderation. So for instance, the little birthday parties that the kids have in school, I would always say, you can eat a half or a couple of bites of the cupcake and then leave the rest, right? Don't eat the whole
Hmm.
cupcake. You don't have to eat the
Hmm.
whole one. And sometimes they listened, sometimes they didn't.
Yeah,
but
that's
when they
understandable.
but when they didn't and they came home and they were wired, and bouncing off the walls, I would call that to their attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of like, look at you. What went on today? You ate the whole cupcake, didn't you?
Hmm.
Right. So, and they could observe themselves and say, well, yeah. And so they made the connection.
You know what's interesting? I was looking at something not too long ago. The eating habits of the youngsters in Japan, broccoli. I mean, the things that the average kid would say, "Ugh," they take it as normal.
Yeah, because they're from day one, that's what they eat. That's what they're put in front of them. So they don't know anything other than that. And that's kind of like what I did. My kids didn't know um, up until like first grade what it was like to, you know, eat a whole candy bar because we just didn't do that in our house. I told you about Halloween. Yeah, they got to go out and trick or treat and the costumes and all that. But when the candy bag came back to the house, they knew what was going to happen with that candy bag and that they couldn't just sit in the middle of the floor, in their bedroom and just eat as much of that candy as they wanted. It was confiscated and it was, some of it was a no-go and it just went into the trash.
If you told other neighbors or whatever, did they think you were being mean or restrictive, or it really didn't matter because that was with your children you were raising? I would take it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay that much attention. I got a lot of side eyes, from friends who had children the same age as mine, but it's just didn't bother me because I it's not like I just thought I was doing the right thing. I knew I was doing the right thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, it didn't bother me. I just wanted to make sure though that the kids, when they were out and about and outside of the house, that they didn't feel like they were were misfits or, you know, on the outside of things. No, participate in those things, but when it comes to what you put in your mouth, just be a little bit careful, especially with sugar,
Now, what
right?
about what about the fact that we're approaching Thanksgiving? You know, with Thanksgiving, there's the
Yeah.
turkey, the stuffing, the candy yams, the
Yeah.
sweet potatoes, the pineapples. I remember my mother used to make these pineapple rings with potatoes on it, then like pecans on the top of it. We would devour those. So, how do and you just don't tell a person, just don't stop eating it, but maybe a better way to eat with understanding, if that makes sense.
No, it's for Thanksgiving. This is a major holiday. It's a time for family, right?
Yeah.
And so you can enjoy Thanksgiving dinner, but you enjoy it in moderation. Like, my if you're 360 days a year eating healthily, you can have a nice plate of Thanksgiving dinner.
In
It's
other words,
fine.
at least one of, or at least a couple of days out the entire year of indulgence. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
sure. Absolutely. Be as mindful as you can be. What I, as a rule of thumb, I tell people, fine, take your Thanksgiving plate and put on it as many colors as you can, right? The rainbow, eat the
That's
rainbow, even at
interesting. That's
Thanksgiving,
interesting.
right? So
That's
put the
interesting.
greens on there, put the sweet potatoes on there, put the carrot, candy carrots, whatever, but make sure that the plate is colorful and that it's mostly covered with vegetables and the turkey, yes, and the gravy, yeah, right? Stuffing a little bit, put some stuffing on that plate and put the gravy on it, but the plate should mostly look like the rainbow. That's
Why?
how I
That's
eat
interesting. Why
Thanksgiving.
the colors? Why colors? In other words,
Well, those
don't.
colors equate to health. The colors equate to things called bioflavonoids, um, and all the minerals and vitamins that are in those vegetables come from the color. The color is an indicator that there are health promoting things in that item, right? And so by consuming them, your body says, yeah, okay, I need that. I can use that. And you'll feel a lot better too. I mean, I know some people who um, it's like they love meat, and so they'll pile their plate full
Yes,
of the
you
ham and
you
the
read my mind
turkey, and they
exactly.
may have a little scoop of greens on there, and some mashed potatoes, white potato, and not a lot of color on the plate.
Because
That's not.
in my mind, I saw somebody with a plate of just turkey, stuffing, and mashed potatoes and gravy. Now
Yeah,
that's not too much color. Would you call it? Would that be correct? That's not much color.
no, there's not much color there. Put some color on that plate, right? Um, and I mean, the greens are just fabulous. I mean, greens are superfoods. They're nutrient dense, and so put a little scoop of greens on there. And most everybody has some sweet potatoes
Yeah,
at
definitely,
Thanksgiving. So
definitely.
even if they're candied, it's still a sweet potato, right? And it's
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, so enjoy that piece of candied sweet potato because there's some goodness in there,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? But don't just eat the gray and the brown stuff. Um, yeah, but it's a holiday. And like I said, if you're eating really healthily for the rest, for most of the year, go ahead and indulge on Thanksgiving. Even have a slice of that pie.
That's what I'm talking about. You
Have
got
a
to have
slice
at
of
least some
pie.
apple pie, potato pie,
Yeah.
pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the three that are the most nutritious. I love that.
Okay.
Apples, apple pie, you've got apples in there. Apples are very high in pectin and fiber. And so you want a fiber dense, as much fiber in your meal as possible because it helps your blood to stabilize, right? And so that's actually what I'm bringing.
So that means I get a bigger slice. I'm entitled to a
Well,
bigger.
no, 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 no. Not necessarily because you got the crust and all that, but a slice of pie, and even maybe a little scoop of a small scoop of ice cream on top, vanilla
Oh,
ice cream.
nice. That's a
It,
small
it's
scoop, huh? Okay.
it's fine. A small scoop, like a
Okay.
spoonful.
A
It's fine.
spoonful. What you gonna do with a spoonful, Janice? But
Well,
anyway,
it's going to give you that creaminess that goes with the pie. And that's what people really like about having a scoop of ice cream on top of a dessert. Is there's the mouth feel and of course the sugar. It's full of sugar,
Mm-hmm.
But give yourself a tablespoonful on top of that pie. If you absolutely really feel like you want to have that, go ahead and have that.
Well, what about a pumpkin pie? Does that have any nutrients or anything like
Pumpkin
that go
pie
with it?
is one of the healthier pies that you can eat. Why?
Yeah.
Again, fiber. Pumpkin has a lot of fiber in it. It's orange, which means you've got those flavonoids in there, right? Now, yes, you have most people put a lot of spices in the pumpkin pie. So you have clove, you have cinnamon, you have nutmeg in there. Those are very, very uh, um, healthy for you, very good for you. So yeah, a slice of pumpkin pie. Okay. Now, what you want to avoid, if
Yes.
you can, are
Good.
pies like, the coconut cream pie and the pecan pie. Those kinds of pies, you maybe should opt for the other fruit pie, the healthier pies, because those are really, really sugar laden pies. They're almost all sugar. So you do want to avoid those. And if you must have a piece, Eric, if you must have a piece, just take a very small slice of those pies, because that's going to spike your blood sugar immediately, and like instantly, when you're consuming that kind of concentrated sugar. And that's why you're going to feel like just plopping down on the couch when you're done eating, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why you call it a lay down meal, because after you finish, you want to kind of get to the nearest couch or bed or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chair or
Um,
something.
the portions are significant as well. So
What do
again,
you
I said,
mean?
if,
That's
if
interesting. What do you mean by portions?
the portions on your plate, when you look at your plate, like I said, it should be mostly vegetables, and with the meat, the ham or turkey, yeah, have that like maybe 1/4 or less of that plate, and the rest of it you can fill it with the rainbow veggies, and then some stuffing or mashed potatoes, but not both, right? Choose one.
Hold up. But what happens if a person likes that combination? See, because I'm thinking about, because after years of going to Thanksgiving, I've seen people put all kinds of combinations on their plates.
Yeah, people have a tendency to, I think, um, because it only comes once a year and they know that the food is going to be delicious, they have a tendency to overdo what they eat, put a little bit too much on their plate. They do. So I advocate for put moderate amounts on your plate. There, you can always go back for more, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
always go back for more.
Mm-hmm.
What you'll find though is if you moderate that first plate, chances are you will go back, but you won't go back and end up eating as much as you would have if you had piled that plate full to begin with, because you're the those they're called satiety uh, enzymes or chemicals that are released in your body when your stomach is full or almost full. They will kick in, and even if you do go back to the buffet for more, you won't get as much because you will get that sensation of fullness,
Okay.
right?
So in other
So
words,
there's a strategy.
yeah, because after the family gets together and they say the prayers, they all dig in and seem to pile up. Well, what about the rolls, the buttered rolls or biscuits, or what about those
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, you're you're
I'm
you're
getting
hitting on
hungry
all
now.
the things that we have at our Thanksgiving dinner traditionally. I mean, if there are fresh homemade rolls there, take one. Take
Just
one, but
one,
just be aware of what that roll represents.
which is
It's pretty much it's not a complex carbohydrate, it's a simple carbohydrate, which means when you consume that roll, it's gonna do a lot to spike blood sugar. right?
Interesting.
So it's the fiber. The reason for the vegetables, yeah, you have all those nice vitamins and flavonoids in the veggies, but what you also have, which is so critical, is the fiber, because the fiber in those vegetables is going to moderate the sugar content of those mashed potatoes and the sweet potatoes, so that the sugar in them will not get absorbed into your system as quickly. So if you don't have a good chunk of fiber on that plate, yeah, you're going to be on sugar overload. Even though you look, well, I don't have any sugar on my plate. Yeah, you do. Your body treats the stuffing and, which is bread, and then that roll, which is bread, it's a simple carbohydrate. It treats it like it's sugar. Your body
Interesting.
doesn't know any difference between that and a
Interesting.
teaspoon or 5 teaspoons or 10 teaspoons of sugar. It doesn't
Interesting.
know the difference.
Interesting. What about for people who want to put a lot of butter on their breads and stuff like that? Does butter have any effect one way or the other? Much less margarine.
Well, let's leave the margarine off, off
Yeah,
the
I
table.
agree with you on that.
Um,
But
butter, depending upon what kind of butter it is, it can be okay. I mean, you want to make sure that you're buying organic, pastured butter, like the good stuff, right? Um, and again, don't slather that roll in butter. Just put a small pat on it. Um, Again, people have a tendency to overdo those kinds of things. Now, it is a fat, and if you have the right kind of butter, it's a healthy fat, and it will also help to slow down the absorption of those complex carbohydrates.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so fat and fiber help somewhat with that.
Now, another side of the equation, beverages, drinks, eggnogs, um, poquito, as they call it in the Hispanic community, where it's
Hmm.
heavily spiked with rum and tequila and all this other stuff. How does that go hand in hand with what people are eating, other than, because very rarely does people have a plate of turkey with some water, a glass of water.
No, and this goes to one of the basic health and wellness tips that I share with people when I'm working with them, and that is never drink your calories.
What does that mean?
So water is 0 calories. There's no calories
Uh,
in water,
uh-huh.
right?
Hmm.
There's no calorie in coffee or tea, plain
Interesting.
coffee or tea.
Really?
No calories in that. Once you go away from that, almost every other beverage, unless it's sugar free, which is not a good thing, using the artificial sweeteners, but just about everything else is sugar laden. So you don't want to waste your calories on something that you're drinking. And I'm going to take it one step further and say
Please
that
do.
you really shouldn't drink much of anything with your meal.
But
So,
people seem to think that goes hand in hand. Why
yeah,
is that though?
I know, but I'm trying to share things to bring into people's awareness so that when they're sitting at that table, they'll think, yeah, it's two good reasons why I probably should just have a few sips of water with this meal, or a cup, some plain tea, some hot tea with the meal. And I'll save the sparkling cider for later. And here's why. Your digestive system is going to be overwhelmed with all of what you're putting in, right?
True, true,
So the
true.
digestive enzymes that are needed to digest that food, you don't want to dilute them. You need them to be full strength in your stomach and in your small intestine, where most of that digestion is happening. You want those digestive enzymes to be full strength, not watered down. If you're drinking a lot, and this goes for any meal, never mind Thanksgiving, this goes for any meal that you eat, you're watering down those enzymes. So
Yeah,
they're
because
not going to have the
you
same
think it goes
power.
hand in hand. A person to take a couple of bites, spoons, or whatever, forks, and then go something down along with it, thinking that goes like. hand in hand, but you're saying that's really not the way to do it.
From a health standpoint, no. And I mean, you can verify this. You can Google it. It's sort of out there that the best nutritionists out there will tell you have a few sips of something warm, right, with your meal. Some tea, some black coffee, right? No
Mm-hmm.
sugar.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to have something, take a few sips of that. No more than a couple of ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 ounces. If you have to have that, because of that reason. So that those enzymes, those digestive enzymes, especially if you're older, because when you're older, those digestive enzymes aren't as powerful as they used to be.
That makes
And they're
sense.
not dumped in as plentiful as they used to be. So throwing liquid on top of that, you have a problem with digestion and breaking down those foods in your stomach.
Well, how long
They
should
need to
one
be
wait
broken down.
before, let's say, okay, I'm at Thanksgiving, family, whatever. I have a plate. I've ate my turkey, my rainbow variety of whatever I'm putting on the plate. How long should I wait before I either have, I think you said I could have maybe a sip of water along the way?
With the meal,
Yes, because you
yeah,
said it
have
has
some of
0
you.
calories.
Yeah, there's 0 calories in water, tea, black coffee. So have a couple sips of that warm drink or that water. And by the way, water should always be consumed at room temperature.
I was told that. I was told
Yeah.
that. That's how I drink my water,
Yeah,
room
that's an
temperature.
old, Ayurvedic, sort of basic 101, and it's carried through all health.
Yeah,
uh
all my water is room temp. I don't get
yeah,
out of the
yeah.
refrigerator, stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, reasons for that, but just so you know, drink
So,
your water
so,
at room
so you're
temperature.
saying that a person should wait, like after they finish a plate, whether it's Thanksgiving or a plate at home, they should wait how long? About 15, 20 minutes, half hour before they then consume something to drink?
Yeah, 30 minutes is good because your food takes, I think, anywhere from an hour to hour and a half to for all of that stuff to happen, and then there's a certain motor thing that happens that shunts all of the food that's in your stomach. It's the acid level, I believe that it is, that signals your stomach to start pumping the food out of your stomach into your small intestine.
That's called the peristaltic waves or whatever they call it, I
Yeah,
believe, right?
right.
Mhm.
There's a signaling mechanism that starts that process. And if I'm not mistaken, if you have really good digestive action going on, at least an hour, at least an hour before you start,
But now what
guzzling.
happens to a person that is used to having a plate followed up with some eggnog or juice or cider or something like that?
Well, I mean, fine, but you're adding like more calories and more sugar. Remember,
And
you've
you're also
already,
diluting the digestive process that would naturally take place should you not have drunk anything, right? To let that,
well, it's more what you're drinking. It's more what you're drinking at that point, an hour after you're finished your plate of food. It's more what you're drinking
would
than,
that be like adult beverages, a beer, a
yeah.
wine,
Yeah.
eggnog?
Now I'll be honest with you. Wine, obviously, everybody knows, wine can help with digestion.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
that's, in Europe, that every meal they have a glass of wine with it, right?
Mm-hmm,
Their wine
mm-hmm.
is a little bit different over there than it is here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's it can help with digestion if you're drinking a glass of wine or a little bit of wine or yeah. So it's more about what you're drinking, either with the meal or shortly after the meal. That's going to signal your body to do something really good for you or something not so good for you. And then you're going to end up with a bellyache. So if you're doing the eggnog thing, if that's a tradition and it's important to you, have a couple sips of eggnog. But if you know that you have some issues around that in terms of digestion and, blood sugar or anything like that, if you're otherwise healthy, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, I mean, and go by what you feel. That's the main thing of this whole thing, is go by what you feel. There's a whole thought process around eating and wellness. It's I think we talked about in the last time we were on intuitive eating, right? You
That's
use
it.
your intuition and you
That's
use how
interesting.
you're feeling to tell you what you should do next. And the issue is, for from a coaching perspective, is to get people to tune into how they feel. Most people don't.
I was going to ask you that because when they're eating, they're celebrating, they're
Yeah.
talking, there's music, there's a whole lot going on. But you're saying one of the things in the course of eating is to do intuitive eating in terms of, because I don't think people are thinking about how they're feeling. There's so much of stuff in their mouths.
No, this can go really deep. this this
No,
this
no, this is exactly
this
what I
is we're getting at the crux of what really blocks a lot of people from reaching optimal wellness, is that they're not tuned into their bodies and how they really feel. And especially if you already have health issues, again, from a coaching perspective, one of the things that has to happen is you have to, the challenge is to get that person to start becoming tuned in. Because first of all, they probably don't feel good all the time.
Mm-hmm,
Right. And
mm-hmm,
so it's like,
mm-hmm.
okay, I don't feel good all the time. So what's the difference? Well, let's back that truck up a bit, and let's talk about changing a few things and then tuning into what difference that makes. Oh, that didn't make a difference. Fine. Let's try this. And you sort of back into things until you get to a point where the person says, wow, I do feel different. I slept better last night, or I had a whole lot more energy today. Well, okay, what did we change? Well, we didn't drink any sugary beverages yesterday or the day before. We just drank water and tea, right? So we reduced your sugar load. So let's talk about that. And so you gradually get people to make the connection between how they feel and what they're eating, how what they're eating makes them feel. And you go sort of down the food chain little by little. This is my approach anyway, is to get people to then take that over on their own and empower them to say, all right, I know how when I eat this, I know how that makes me feel. And so I'm going to eat just a little bit of that because I don't want to feel that way. And I know what it feels now, like now, I know how good I feel when I don't eat that, or it's too much of that. So you see how it's a whole process of learning your inner terrain in terms of food.
I do like to ask you a question. Yes, it's Thanksgiving, but what about people who have this thing about comfort food? What does that mean, comfort food?
Boy, Lord, you're asking some really good questions here. So comfort food is exactly that. It's any food that makes you feel good. And most of our comfort foods come from childhood, right?
Uh-huh.
We know when we were little, grandma or mom or somebody made this one dish that you just loved, whether it was macaroni and cheese or, some chocolate chip nut cookies or whatever. It was just your thing. It made you feel really good. Right. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with comfort foods. What I try to do is turn what are considered whatever your comfort food is. Let's try and make it in a way that it's still a comfort food, but it doesn't do those nasty things to your body when you eat it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what I did with my kids. Right. They what kid doesn't love ice cream, right?
Sure, sure.
So what I did, and I did this with my grandchildren as well, is that, what you do is you trick them and you put a little scoop of ice cream in the dish, but then you take some yogurt and
And
you
kind
mix
of
half
mix it
and
in.
half ice cream with the yogurt, right? And then
Hmm.
you take some fresh berries and you make a sundae. I used to make them these little sundaes, right? And
Hmm.
I'd put fresh fruit in there, whatever their favorite fresh fruit is, and then maybe a little drizzle of chocolate on the top and a little cherry, the little maraschino cherries, and make it really pretty. You couldn't tell them that they didn't have an ice cream sundae, and some sliced bananas in there, right?
That's
But what
interesting.
they
What you
didn't
got to do
know,
is be creative and use your
you have to be
imagination.
creative, yeah. What they didn't know is they were getting some amazing probiotics in there with that Greek yogurt or whatever kind of yogurt. It's always unsweetened yogurt. Um, And so, yeah, you do those little hacks or tricks um, to reduce, in my case, I was trying to reduce their tolerance for sugar.
Uh-huh.
You can build up a very high tolerance in children for sugar very quickly,
Well, sugar's
right?
addictive.
It's addictive. And so your taste buds on your tongue are what drive that. So the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want. So I tried to keep their tolerance level really low so that anything that they ate that was like really high in sugar, they spit it out. It was too sweet for them. Whereas their friends that they had very high tolerance for sugar, they would just eat it because it didn't taste that sweet to them. So yeah, and that's again, unfortunately, in the world we live in today, at least in this country, our poor kids get addicted to sugar so quickly.
Well, it's so obvious too. You can't go to any supermarket or store, especially as you're coming out the checkout line, without rolls of sugar or candies or
Yeah.
candies, all kinds of stuff. It's like, that's like one of a parent's kind of like dreads going through there, and all the kids naturally want to grab a chocolate. But let me get back to the Thanksgiving side a second. There's always a person that brags that they got the best potato salad on the planet. Where does that fit in?
It's funny. The potato salad is not something that we normally have. I know that a lot of families do
Yes.
traditionally have
And they
potato
talk
salad
about
on
to brag
Thanksgiving.
for it. They're known for their potato salad.
Yeah. I mean, potato salad, you can make that healthy. Now it's a white potato, okay, which is sort of like eating a piece of bread because there's some fiber, not as much as a sweet potato, but there's some fiber in a potato, and potatoes are high in potassium. We need potassium, we need magnesium. So it's not a definite no, but it's how you prepare that potato that makes a difference. So when potato salad, typical potato salad is piled with mayonnaise, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
when I make potato salad and I'm trying to make it in a healthy way, I'm going to use a little bit of mayo, but I'm mostly going to use like some yogurt or some sour cream, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to use more celery or fiber in that potato salad than normal. I'm going to throw something fermented in that potato salad, like some pickles, right, which helps with digestion of what you're eating. So yeah, there's a way to make healthy potato salad that tastes really good.
Okay, there was a person that mentioned here, they says, what is it that I'm trying to get to it because they asked a good question, and that was, what are the foods that spike your sugar? I'm trying to get where they put that at. Um, are there foods that will spike your sugar during a time like this?
Yeah, we talked about several of them. The typical Thanksgiving plate is going to have some mashed white potatoes on there on the
Mm-hmm.
plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending upon how they're made, they could spike your blood sugar. Definitely the stuffing, that's bread. The rolls, that's bread. Again, your body's going to treat that like sugar, like regular sugar. Um, what else would you tip? Oh, cranberry sauce. Now,
Oh,
I will
forgot
say
about
cranberry
that. Yes.
sauce, if you make cranberry sauce at home, you're in good shape. But don't buy it in the can, please. Don't buy it in the can.
Why is
Make it
that,
at
Janice?
Well, because the cranberry sauce that's in the can is there's very little cranberry, very little cranberry in there.
Are you
And
serious?
it's a lot of food coloring and sugar. I hate to tell you that.
Interesting.
But buy the
Interesting.
cranberries, buy a bag of cranberries. I mean, I just made mine the other day.
So can you
Uh,
tell the person who want to make can you give us a simple formula of how to make cranberries? You say buy the cranberries, then what's the next
It
step?
is about the easiest thing in the world to make.
Get out of here.
A
Explain,
bag of
please.
cranberries, preferably organic, because the way they grow cranberries, if they're not organic, they're GMO. And so you want to try and make them organic. But if not, still make it. Go get, if you just have the regular ones, just buy those. You take that bag and dump it in a saucepan. Literally, just
Mhm,
open the bag, well, wash them, right?
mhm.
Wash them and then dump them in that saucepan. And you want to put maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of water in that pan. And then you want to take, now this is where sugar is going to be used because cranberries are bitter. So you can use, but the kind of sugar that you use makes a difference. So I use either coconut sugar, which has a lot of minerals and
There's
vitamins in it.
coconut sugar?
I use coconut sugar.
Interesting. Okay.
Or I'll use date sugar because there's
From
the
dates, I
mineral.
take it, right?
I'm sorry.
From dates, the fruit, the dates that
Yes,
you eat.
yes,
Yes.
you can
Okay.
buy date sugar. It looks
I
just
didn't
like
know that.
regular
I
sugar,
didn't
but
know that.
it's made from dates.
Okay. Okay.
So use a decent kind of sugar and put, I would say for 1 bag of cranberries, you may need a whole cup of sugar, of that sugar
Mm-hmm.
in there
Mm-hmm.
to offset. And then you turn that stove on low and put the lid on and cook it for 20 minutes and you have some of the best. Oh, throw in an eighth of a teaspoon of ground clove,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And an eighth of a teaspoon of nutmeg. And that will be a spiced cranberry sauce. It's to die for. But if you're not big into spices, you can leave those out. Just the water, the cranberries, and a healthy kind of sugar. Turn that stove on medium, right? Not high, medium to low, and let it cook for 20 to maybe 30 minutes. But what you have to do, those cranberries are going to start to pop, right? When it
Really?
heats up. And so you'll hear them popping. You'll literally hear them popping. And so you want to open up the lid and stir, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stir that and for during that maybe 2 or 3 times during that 30-minute period, and you're done. You have the best homemade cranberry sauce you've ever had. And the beauty of it is cranberries are loaded with fiber. They're obviously look at the color of them, right? Here we're back to the color.
Mm-hmm.
Loaded
Mm-hmm.
with those bioflavonoids and those flavanols, right? And you can look up the benefits of cranberries, and they are a nutrient dense food. So you really do want to have a scoop of homemade cranberry sauce on your plate for sure. But it's
But it should
very
be
easy to make.
homemade rather than commercial out of a can based upon it, because you said it's more of a filler.
Yeah, there's all kinds. I looked at a can of cranberry sauce a couple of weeks ago in the supermarket, and they actually have started to put food coloring in the cranberry sauce. Why? Cranberries are the most colorful. You don't need food coloring. They're loaded with color all by themselves. They're ruby red. They're gorgeous, but so I was like, yeah, people make your own cranberry sauce.
You know what I'd like to do also at some point later on up the road, either toward the end of this year or early next year, is have you back to take us through how you shop through a supermarket. For example, breads. There's certain bread. Now, when you talk of, I got so many questions. So let me do with the breads right now. Is there a best type of bread that one should buy for their health, all considered? If that makes sense, like
Yes.
white bread versus whole wheat versus grain. If you would get some bread, what kind of bread would you recommend that a person shopping in a supermarket should pick up to add to their dinner,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe add to the Thanksgiving in addition to rolls?
Yeah. So I won't say most, but a lot of the supermarkets now have their own bakeries where they bake in the store and they put it out for you to buy. If your grocery store has an in-store bakery, go to that section. Don't go to the aisle where they have the bread,
The bread aisle.
in the
Hmm.
bread aisle. Yeah, go to
Hmm.
the fresh bakery and ask them if they make sourdough bread. Sourdough is, I think, this is Janice's opinion, one of the healthiest breads that you can eat if you're going to eat bread. And the reason
Interesting.
for it, it uses it's fermented,
What
right?
does
And
that mean?
meaning that when you make sourdough bread, you're using the item that makes the dough rise when you bake it.
Hmm.
Instead of it just being a yeast packet, it's sat and it's fermented before you use it, which means that there's a lot of really beneficial probiotics and prebiotics, all those good things for your gut. It's very gut healthy, right? And I do make sourdough bread. It's quite the process, right?
That's
But it's
interesting.
very, very good when you make it at home, make it yourself. So what I do when if I'm going to eat bread, now I don't buy bread from the grocery aisle. I go to the bakery section and the store where I shop. They make, it's fresh made. And it comes in on Wednesdays, and I always have to get there before everybody buys it up. But they have sourdough loaves that they sell. And so I'll grab one or two of those for the week. And yeah, that's so in answer to your question, I think the healthiest kind of bread that you can eat is sourdough. Now, you can get San Francisco style sourdough or French style sourdough. There's all different kinds of sourdough, but just and it should be organic, because the
I've
flour
seen
that you use, if it's not organic, again, it's GMO.
I've
It's got
seen
glyphosate.
sourdoughs in a big loaf, and then you gotta put it through a machine to slice it, cut it into slices.
Yes, and that's right. I will pick it, I say I want that loaf, and then they'll take it over to the slicer and they'll slice it for me. And then, yeah.
But what about the average store that doesn't have a bakery section, but just have a
Usually, even in the, have I seen sourdough in the regular bread aisle? Yes, I have. I have seen it in just a regular supermarket, but at least look for it. Look for sourdough.
okay,
And
okay,
if you can find a loaf of sourdough in your supermarket, buy the sourdough bread.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Now, people say, well, what about wheat bread? Right?
Yeah,
It's got more
whole
fiber
wheat,
in it. And it's,
grain.
yeah,
I understand white bread has no nutrition at all. That's like a waste of time.
um, pretty much if it's in a bag, yeah, you're right. It's not. It doesn't have much. And you can read the label. Like you said you want to, have me back to that's what I do. I'm a label reader. And that's how I've gotten to this point, is that I've been reading food labels for the last 25 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think you remember Tracy said that I taught her. If there's more than 5 ingredients on the label, keep it moving,
Yeah.
right? Because the 6th item is probably a chemical that you don't want in your body.
Mhm.
So yeah, I read the labels on the bags for the food, the bread in the bread aisle, and I have other options, right? And so if I'm going to choose that, and here's the thing, now the bread in the bread aisle is just as expensive as the sourdough that I get from the fresh bakery. Used
Yeah,
to
I know
be
that.
the bread in the bread aisle was cheaper. And so people say, well, I'm not spending $7 for a loaf of sourdough bread. Well, try going in the regular bread aisle now and find a
And see what
halfway
you get.
decent loaf of bread for $7.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless if you're buying, Wonder
And it's
Bread, I
regular
don't even
bread.
know, do they still even make Wonder Bread?
I remember that. You wonder where it went. That's what it was with nutrition.
Right, right. But no, give yourself, this is the lesson here. Give yourself permission. I'm giving everybody a permission slip to invest in your body and your health. And the way you invest is to buy the periphery of the store. You go around the periphery, go hit the produce department first before you shop for anything. And most stores you walk in, at least here, you walk into the produce
Yeah,
is right there.
vegetables and yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So shop the produce section first and then go around the store. In the back is usually the meat section, right? And then around the other side is usually the dairy and the bread section. The aisles, I don't go down many aisles in the supermarket.
Really?
No. Unless I'm looking for like yeast to make bread or some type of I'll go down the bean aisle because beans are superfoods, right?
Right.
And so I will invest in good quality beans in the can. But other than that, there's not a whole lot in the aisles that I want.
You mean, Janice, you don't go down the cookie aisle, the potato chip aisle, the pretzel aisle? You don't go down
No,
none of
I
those
won't
aisles?
say I don't because my son's living with me right now and he's a snacker, right? So I do go down those aisles now. But when he was not here and I'm living alone, no, I never go down that aisle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no. My treats are different. They're not that.
What about frozen vegetables and frozen ice pops and ice cream and all that stuff? You go down those aisles?
I told you my ice cream story the last time, right? I had to wean myself off of ice cream
Yeah,
when the
because you were
kids,
really
yeah.
into it. Big
Oh,
time.
I was addicted to ice cream, seriously addicted to ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I had to really go cold turkey with that because again, I was modeling good eating habits for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like if they saw me eating ice cream every night, it'd be like, oh, it's cool to eat ice cream every night. And no,
Because
it's
mama
not.
eats it every night. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I could eat it every night.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't buy those things for myself because I have replaced them with other treats that are healthy. And so I don't miss them. And that's the whole idea with, when I'm dealing with a client is I quickly will try and find a way to replace their favorites with a healthier version of it. And if I can get that healthier version to satisfy their taste buds, then I've won that battle, right? And then you just keep going down the list of their favorite things and show them first I'll make it, right? And then I'll show them how to make it. And now they have a new best snack that they can so that they're not missing or wanting to go in the store. And usually it's cheaper.
Interesting.
It's cheaper. And so they're saving money and they're improving their health. And so it's hard to argue with that.
Now, one of the
Yeah.
things I've heard too is the controversy about cooking oils, peanut oil, olive
Yeah,
oil, this, that, and the
I
other.
see that.
My
Hey,
moderator says,
Jazz.
can you
I love
please,
the question.
yeah, speak about canola oil and why it may be unhealthy? And if so, which is the best oil for a woman when she's cooking, especially when she's preparing for her family using oils? Which is the best from your research or your experience of doing this for a long time, raising your
Yeah,
children and grandchildren?
so I gave up on canola oil a long time ago.
Why is that?
Um, Canola oil is full of. It used to be you could buy canola oil that was not GMO,
Uh-huh.
right? But that went out the window many years ago. They started using GMO seeds to make canola oil, right? And so I knew about GMOs like a long time ago, and so I was sensitive to that. And everything that I was reading in the literature, because I've been, I go into the literature to find out what's the cutting edge. And so 20 years ago, they were telling people, canola oil is probably not the best choice for you.
And this
And
was
about
20
20
years
years
ago?
ago, that people started using extra virgin olive oil.
Uh-huh.
Right? They started promoting the olive oil. So canola oil that you buy now is heavily loaded with, unless you can try finding organic canola oil. It's very difficult to find. But if you can find organic canola oil, okay. So if it's not organic, I would say that I would put it in the unhealthy category.
In other words, you would recommend not using it for any woman in the kitchen or any guy in the kitchen frying and preparing food. That's okay.
No, you have too many other options.
What are the options?
So for cooking and high, most people use oil for like high heat, like frying and sauteing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I love to talk about this because this is important. People want to use olive oil now to saute and brown things and fry things. And that is one of the worst things that you can do. And I know this is people's ears are going to press like, what? Yeah, no. And you can research it. Olive oil, first of all, the healthy people that use olive oil and in they use it on everything. Obviously in Italy, olive oil goes on everything and in everything. Those people have one of the highest levels of heart health in the world. And they're eating tons of olive oil, but they don't cook with it. They don't fry with it. They drizzle it.
What do you mean they drizzle it?
It goes into a dish after it's been cooked. Like when I make soup,
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, if I need to brown some onions, I'm not using olive oil. I'm going to use avocado oil. There's a new oil that I'm using. It's called algae oil, ALGAE. It's very high heat. It's excellent. But for everyday use, avocado oil you want to use. Maybe coconut oil, maybe. Yeah. So those are the oils that go in my skillet if I'm trying to saute or brown. I never use olive oil, even just to brown some onions or I don't. And it's because, and I mean, you can look this up. It's because olive oil is very sensitive to heat.
Really?
They tell you that the smoke point for olive oil is, I think, Sometimes they'll say it's up to 400 degrees. It's really not. It's really not. Unless you have really pure, fresh olive oil, and that's not in this country. I'll just tell you that.
That's interesting. So
So,
there is a
so
difference between olive oil and what they call 100%, excuse me, virgin olive oil.
extra virgin olive oil is
There you go.
probably the best one that you can buy, but and you can Google this as well. A lot of the stuff, especially in the regular grocery store, that's labeled extra virgin olive oil, there may be some of that in there, but most of it is not that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, it's been adulterated with some other kind of oil. So the rule of thumb is when you're shopping for olive oil, if it does not have on the back of it a date that tells you when that olive oil, those olives were harvested, or an end date, if there's no date, don't buy it, because for sure that is adulterated olive oil.
So
If
you're
you can,
saying good olive oil should have a expiration date somewhere on
yes,
the label.
it's not an expiration date necessarily. It's a date when those olives were harvested to make that olive oil.
Uh-huh.
The
Okay.
harvest date.
Okay.
When did those olives come off the tree?
Okay.
Right? And that's an indicator of freshness,
That
right?
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes
If
sense.
so, right now on the shelf, I think the best you could find in a regular supermarket, or if you can find a bottle that has a date on it, it might say 2024, a date of 2020, which means those olives were harvested almost 2 years ago. But that's not bad. It's not bad. At least you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the other ones that don't have a date, that could have been sitting in a bottle for 10 years and you don't even know it.
That's so interesting. You
Yeah.
know,
So olive oil,
we're going a little over the hour. I need to keep you about 15 more minutes because there's a chart that we have that you wanted to put up to explain to people. So continue with what you're saying, and I won't keep you too long.
no, I think that's more important. So,
Because I'm really enjoying this. I mean, I have so many questions, but definitely you're going to have to walk us through the supermarket one day, okay? And
I'm
explain
happy
how
to
you
do
do
that.
it.
I'm happy to do that.
And
Yeah.
I think for the education of my viewers, my Live with Lloyd family, I think that's very, very important because health is all you got at the end of the
It's
day.
all you have.
Trust me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, there was something that you had that I wanted to put up. I'm going to take the banner off a second so we can see the entire thing that you wanted to provide us. And it is, where is it? Now, all of a sudden, this thing want to act up. That's interesting. I had that's crazy. Oh, here it is. It's on the screen. Now,
Yes.
for people, please either take a screenshot or with your camera or, something, because you got the 10 top herbs, spices to use daily to improve your overall health and wellness. You have the 10 top essential oils for pain relief, immune support, and respiratory balance, and just a few of your fantastic food finds. So let's start at the top, Janice. Okay.
Okay. So the kitchen is the best place to start when it comes to improving overall health and wellness, obviously, right? But let's talk spices. These are the spices and the herbs that I think have the biggest bang for your buck. In other words, you're going to see a measurable difference in how you feel if you're using some of these on a regular basis. And I'm going to point specifically to two of them. I mean,
Okay.
most people don't know. Most people know about turmeric, right?
Yes.
And how good that is for them. But number two, dandelion root, most people don't know much about that, but it is a powerhouse. I use it as an herb in a tea, and dandelion root tea. I'm not going to go into the benefits of it. You can look it up, but it is a powerhouse. It is safe to drink on a daily basis. It's not a strong tasting tea. It has a very sort of a earthy taste, but I
Mm-hmm.
love it because it does so many good things for you. Burdock root is the same thing. Burdock root is a blood cleanser. It's a very strong blood cleansing herb. And
You
so
know,
I will,
Dr. Sabi, are you familiar with Dr. Sabi?
yes, I am.
Because he always talked about dandelion and burdock, or burdock and dandelion. It was almost as if these two went hand in hand as far as he was concerned.
Oh yeah, I drink a combination of those two at least 3 or 4 times a week. I'll make a pot of dandelion and burdock root tea, and I love to drink it at bedtime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and those are two very inexpensive herbs to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Number 4, if I had to pick one thing on that list that I thought was the most beneficial, is number 4, especially during the holiday season, Ceylon cinnamon. And here's why. It is a very powerful blood sugar regulator.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, not blood sugar. It does lower blood sugar, but the biggest thing that it does is that it lowers blood pressure.
Uh-huh.
So
Somebody
if
had asked
you,
about blood pressure too earlier. What's
yeah,
blood pressure?
anybody, if your blood pressure is starting to creep up on you a little bit and you're not sure why, and you think you're eating healthy, go get some Ceylon cinnamon sticks. Don't get the powder, get the sticks, right? And it has to be Ceylon cinnamon, not the other kind.
You know, I was going to ask you because in stores, especially in the spice areas, you see cinnamon, but I've never seen the word Ceylon cinnamon until now.
Yeah, it comes from a certain region, Sri Lanka, I think it's from.
Uh-huh.
Ceylon cinnamon is a certain species, if you will, of cinnamon or kind of cinnamon that has those characteristics of lowering blood pressure. The other kind of cinnamon, which is called cassia, you'll
Uh-huh.
see cassia, Cassia cinnamon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The whole different kind of cinnamon, comes from a different country, and it actually does not have that effect. And in actuality, and you can Google this, it can be harmful
Interesting.
to you. So Ceylon cinnamon, I buy mine on Amazon. Um,
And you
if
buy in
you
a stick form, not powder.
a stick Buy the sticks, yes.
Okay.
And what you do is you take those sticks and you break them up, 1 or 2 of them, in a pint or so of hot water, boiling water,
Mm-hmm.
and let that sit overnight. And then the next day, go and take a sip of that tea, right? You're going to think, wow, I didn't put sugar in this, but it's going to taste really sweet.
Really?
It's going to taste like somebody put sugar in it, but
Really?
it's just the cinnamon stick
Really?
that
Okay.
flavors that. And
Okay.
it's such a wonderful, if you like cinnamon, you will love
I love
this.
cinnamon. Okay.
So you want to be careful not to make this too strong because it can lower your blood pressure too much.
So you're just saying take a stick and kind of break it in the parts of what
Yeah,
the
start
whole
off with
stick.
1 stick in a
Mm-hmm.
pint of water, 16 ounces of water, even a quart if you want,
Mm-hmm.
and make it on the weak side.
And
And
let
then,
it sit overnight. That's the secret to it.
yeah, boiling water and let it sit overnight. You can put it in
Okay.
the fridge even if you want to. I leave mine out on the counter.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'll make in the morning, if I'm making I'm making a cup of green tea, or I'm making some a cacao drink, I will use the Ceylon cinnamon tea as the liquid for that beverage.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So because I'm a big fan of cinnamon, I can eat cinnamon in anything. So it's a and number 5 is the second most powerful thing on that list.
That's one of my favorites, oregano.
Oregano. Now, caveat with oregano, it is even more powerful in its action than cinnamon. You can really hurt yourself with oregano if you
What do you
don't know,
mean?
if you overdo it. It's very powerful. And you have to be careful how you consume oregano because it will burn your skin. Like
Really?
essential oil, you'll also see it as number 10 under essential oils. Um, you want to really dilute oregano no matter how you're using it. You want to dilute it, especially the essential oil. But if you have any type of upper respiratory congestion or infection and you think you might have a lung infection,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oregano is one of the most powerful uh, almost antibiotics. It kills bacteria really, really well. So you take some oregano, fresh oregano, dried oregano, um, take a bowl, put the oregano in the bowl, stainless steel bowl, not plastic, and pour boiling hot water on top of it and put a towel over your head and breathe in that oregano, the vapor coming up. Guaranteed, whatever's in your lungs, it's if you have any type of bacteria in your lungs, it's gonna kill it.
That's
And
interesting.
you're gonna start to cough, and what comes up is gonna get thinner and thinner. And it's very, very powerful. I can attest to this because back during the pandemic, Tracy was recovering from COVID and had a relapse,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very serious. And she was with me at the time, and I went and got my what is that thing called, the vaporizer,
Yes.
and I put 2 drops of oregano oil in there, and I turned that vaporizer on, and I had her hold that mask up to her face. And she'll tell you this story. She tells everybody this story. She said literally she could feel, just literally within 5 minutes after breathing in that, she was on her way to the emergency room.
Mm.
And it just cleared everything. Just, yeah, it just cleared out. So it's very, very powerful. You have to be careful using oregano.
So you mean
um
in the powdered form and the essential oil form too? That's what you're saying.
I drink oregano tea. I'll put a pinch of oregano in whatever herbal tea I'm making for the evening.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I love, I mean, yeah, it's just a little pinch of oregano in there, just for good measure. I'll put it in
Yeah.
there, just in
Yeah.
case there's some infection hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
throw some oregano in there. And so the rest of them on that first list are pretty self-explanatory. Dill is very good, also for blood pressure and sugar moderation in the blood. And of course, everybody knows about chamomile tea.
Yes. Yes.
Chamomile
Definitely. What
for
about
sleep.
fennel?
Yeah, so that's that. And then for the essential oils, same thing. The number one on the list is mullein, and I'm put that on there because for the winter time, keep some mullein. Either you can buy mullein as an herb, but I put it in the essential oil category because it's very good for that process I just described of putting 1 or 2 drops in some
Mm-hmm.
water and putting a little tent over your head. If you're
Mm-hmm.
having real problems with breathing,
Mm-hmm.
use the mullein. It'll do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll
Okay.
clear out whatever's there.
Okay.
Um, Eucalyptus, I think most people are familiar with that. It's what they put in Vicks Vapor Rub, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That will do the same thing. Frankincense people think it's like they think of it as like
And
for
incense.
incense or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Essential oil of frankincense is one of the most powerful painkillers that there is.
Really?
It
Okay.
is a pain, it relieves pain. So I do a combination of frankincense essential oil, lavender, which is number 4, right? And what's the other thing that I forget? There's one other essential oil that I'll use. And I'll put that in some type of a lotion. Like if somebody has a sprain or a strain or a back issue,
Mm-hmm.
shoulder issue,
Mm-hmm.
I make this sort of salve or lotion with frankincense, lavender. Can't think of the other one that I use. Um, oh, helichrysum. Helichrysum. That's not on here.
Okay.
But just the frankincense and the lavender will do it. And
So
rub that on the sore
you put
spot.
this
And
oil into any rubbing lotion that a person may have at home. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, if you have just some unscented lotion, something
Mm-hmm.
that's, clean, or the best um, thing to dilute essential oils in is something called jojoba oil. It's jojoba, Jojoba,
I
jojoba.
heard of it. I heard of it.
Yeah,
Over.
that is like the go-to for essential oil dilutions. It's
Uh-huh.
cheap. It integrates most all essential oils really well. So jojoba oil, you can use coconut oil. MCT oil is also another really good oil to create that with, or any kind of really good oil. You can use olive oil and rub that on the sore spot, and you're going to get relief from that.
Interesting.
Lemon and tea tree. Tea tree, I buy unscented laundry detergent and dish detergent, and I use tea tree and lemon. I add tea tree and lemon and sometimes sweet orange to that to make a really, really powerful cleanser, because all three of those, lemon, tea tree, and sweet orange, are huge antibacterial, huge level, really high antibacterial. So you're going to improve the cleansing quality of your cleaning products by using those three things. Peppermint is wonderful for stress. Keep a bottle. I always travel with a bottle of peppermint in my purse. Peppermint and lavender usually go with me wherever I go. Peppermint, if you're in a stressful situation or somebody's having a panic attack, or pull that peppermint out and just let them have a couple of whiffs of it. The
Interesting.
peppermint, and it's
Okay.
gonna, yeah.
This is fun. I'm glad we brought this up. I don't mean to keep you over the time, but these things I think is very important for the Lisa Labert Lloyd family to know.
Yeah, so essential oils are one of the areas that maybe I guess maybe 10 years ago I started certifying in, and never, it was, why? Because COVID came, and I
Mhm.
was in the middle of a certification class for essential oils. I didn't get my certification, but I know a lot about essential oils and how to combine them. So if anybody on the call wants a recipe for essential oil blend that they have a specific issue that they would like to address, I'm happy to put together a blend for them.
Okay, I will make sure I put that up too.
Yeah.
Now, as we wrap it up, you said just a few of my fantastic food finds. Okay.
Yeah, and I have all of these. I
I
never.
need to back up. I'm so sorry, Janice. What is Veltier?
Oh, vetiver.
Vetiver. I never heard of him.
Vetiver is an essential oil that most people don't know about. It's a very thick, sort of resinous kind of oil. It takes a
Mm-hmm.
long time for a drop to come out of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But one drop of that mixed in with a little bit of jojoba oil, you're out like a light. If you have issues with sleep, falling asleep, staying asleep, go online. And I mentioned down at the bottom the two companies that I buy my essential oils from.
Mm-hmm.
They're the two of the best quality ones. You can get Plant Therapy on Amazon. Get you some vetiver and keep it on your nightstand. You don't want to use it by itself. You want to mix it in with something, because it's one of those kind of really potent oils. but it will knock you out literally. So I put that on there.
So would you put Velveteer in a drop of like say water before you go to bed or
No,
something?
you don't ever want to consume essential oils unless it's something like lemon or sweet orange. Yeah, no. As a rule, you don't consume essential. They're very, very, very powerful. And some of them can even be corrosive to your digestive tract. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I will put 1 drop of sweet orange in my cocoa drink, 1 drop
Mm-hmm.
in a whole, like almost 16-ounce mug of it. They're very powerful.
So what would you put Velveteer in for those who can't sleep?
Like the jojoba oil or any kind of lotion, you can just put it in your lotion that
So
you
you
would
don't
normally.
you don't actually put it in your tongue or under your tongue and stuff like that.
No, 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 no. You do not want to do that.
So it's more topical, should they
It's a
say?
yes. Most essential oils, just about all of them, are topical applications. Or you can, here's the other way you can do it. I have an essential oil diffuser in my bedroom, and you can put 1 drop of or 2 drops of vetiver in that essential oil diffuser, and it will fill your room with the aroma of vetiver, and it will do the same thing. So you can do it that way through a diffuser. You can do it in a lotion, dilute it in some lotion and rub it on the back of your neck. But you don't want to consume it.
Now you call it a essential diffuser.
Essential oil diffuser. Yeah, a diffuser is,
Do you have one where we can show people right quick?
you know what? I had one in mind. Okay. As a
Hold
matter of
on, let me
fact,
take this off a second because I want people to see this.
here
Okay,
is my
right,
most recent one that I purchased. I love it so much. I don't know if you can see
yeah,
the
you just have to
you
raise it
see
up.
the
Okay.
see the smoke coming up.
Yes.
Okay, so what I have in here in the bottom here, I think I have lavender and frankincense. Right, I just opened up
Really?
my essential oil bottle and I put some lavender, 50-50 lavender essential oil and frankincense, and I close it up and hit the little on button, and this goes on my nightstand, and it makes me go sleepy sleep.
That's
Um,
can you hold that up again? That's called a essential oil
this is an
diffuser.
essential oil diffuser. Yeah, this by Air Versa. I just got this. I love it. Um, Now this one, you don't add any water to it. You just put the essential oils in the bottom of this. See that?
Yeah.
Um, Most people don't use these, but they're very effective. Most people have the ones where you put water in a reservoir and then you drop your essential oils into the water, and it's electric. You got to plug it in, right? And hit the button, and then there's a pump in there that sort of bubbles the water, and the essential oil comes out in the mist, just like this, out of the top. I have one of those also, but I prefer this
I like
because,
that. I like
yeah,
that because I
this
can
is
put it
just
right by
pure
your
essential
nightstand.
oil.
Yeah.
These, I think, for real, essential oil people, they use these more so than the other ones with where you have to add water and it's electric. So
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks for
have all
sharing.
kinds of essential
Thank you
oil
for sharing.
gadgets.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
And as a matter of fact, all of these items that I have, the 6 items that I have mentioned here, I have them. I will show them very quickly. This is the coffee.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me get you up. Oh, okay.
Just so you know, I never try to recommend a product to anybody unless I've tried it. So that's why I brought them all here, and I said I want to show everybody. Yes, Janice uses these. So that's the coffee product. I
Mhm.
recommend it because it has really good coffee product in it, and it also has some other things in it for mood, to boost your mood and your immune system.
Mhm.
It's called
Mhm.
Kappa. Um, people who are into smoothies. I've never been really into smoothies, but because I could never find a protein powder that was clean and didn't have a lot of junk in it. And then I found this. Has one ingredient, organic toasted pumpkin seeds. That's it.
Really?
And you put it in your shake, your smoothie in the morning. Now, it's not as high in protein as some of the other powders, but it's very, very clean. Obviously, one ingredient. It has 9 grams of protein per tablespoon. So if you put 2 tablespoons in your smoothie, that's 18 grams of protein. And here's the thing, it's not gritty. It doesn't mess up the flavor of what you put in your
smoothie.
So I highly recommend pumpkin seed protein powder.
Okay.
The Ceylon cinnamon sticks, we talked about those.
Oh, that's it. That's what they look like.
This is what they look like. Now, sometimes they can be shorter than this. Yeah, but for anybody who's interested, this is not the best brand. This is all I have right now. My best brand is on order. It should be here tomorrow. If you want to know what the best brand is on Amazon, I can send you that.
Yes.
This is a really good find. This is called green salt. This has 50% less sodium in it than regular salt. It literally is green. What it's made of is something called sea asparagus. It grows in the ocean. And normally, a half a teaspoon of regular salt, sea salt, whatever, it has about 800, 900 grams of sodium or milligrams of sodium in it, just for a half a teaspoon. This half a teaspoon has only 277 milligrams of sodium. So if you are on a sodium restricted diet, you may want to think about trying this or asking your doctor about it. Tracy was over the other day and she looked at it and she said, yeah, I'm going to get some of that. Or I'm going to get that and try it and recommend it for my patients.
That's on Amazon too?
Yes, I did get this on Amazon.
Okay.
Yep. It's a low sodium salt substitute. Trust me when I tell you the flavor is unbelievable.
What about this Celtic salt, supposedly? Is that good too?
It's still got the 800 or 900 milligrams of sodium in it. Now it has all those beneficial minerals in it as well. So it's better than regular table salt.
Got you.
Right. But it's still got, because I went and checked. I did a quality control check and I have like 10 different kinds of salt in my house.
Well, isn't your background in kind of like biology or chemistry or something like that?
Yes, my minor was in chemistry. So
yeah. Okay.
So I dig deep when it comes to what's in stuff.
Well, that's obvious. That's obvious. that's
for
obvious.
People who are on, and I'm good. That's the wrong thing. I grabbed the wrong thing. But anyway, I have on here 100% pure monk fruit, Julian Bakery. You can look that up. It is a sweetener that is 0 glycemic index. It does not raise your blood sugar at all, and it is a sweetener.
That is what is called organic walnuts.
Oh no! What I'm looking at number 5 right now on the list, which is pure monk fruit. I thought I had grabbed that container, but I didn't. But I just wanted to mention it to say that if you're struggling with replacing
that on
sugar,
this list you're talking about here.
Yes, number 5 at the bottom, 100% pure monk fruit. Julian Bakery makes it. Don't buy the monk fruit products that have the alcohols in them, right? And if you want to know more about that, you can contact me. But I did the research about 7 or 8 years ago, trying to find a really good sugar replacement. And monk fruit is about as good as it gets, but you gotta buy pure monk fruit. I do believe you can get this on Amazon now. I couldn't back then. I had to order it online from the manufacturer. So anyway, I put that on there for people that are struggling with a sugar replacement. And then these, last but not least, these raw sprouted organic walnuts. Walnuts are a huge superfood, nutrient dense. If you notice, walnuts look like a brain,
Yes, it is. Yes.
right? It
Mm-hmm.
is tremendous brain food. Um, so if you're going to snack on nuts, it's a good thing because there's protein in nuts. There's all kind of good stuff in nuts, but get them sprouted. And there's a very good reason for that because the skins of nuts have, I mentioned it, I think on the last show, these things called lectins, and they rip holes in your gut lining. So if you're going to eat a nut, you want a whole raw nut, you want to buy them sprouted, especially if you're having digestive issues. Keep eating the nuts, but buy them in sprouted form.
Let me tell you this, Janice, this has been such an amazing experience for me. I hope for my Live with Lloyd family as well. I really didn't mean to keep you this long, but I think health wise, nutritional wise, and awareness, this is more than worth the time. And thank you for indulging me with giving me more of your time. But I
Oh,
would
you're
like,
so welcome. You're so
yeah,
welcome. You
go
can
ahead.
tell I'm kind of passionate about this. Once you get me going, I can't shut up.
No, but this is what I'm saying. And then I got a ton of questions too. So a great combination. Okay. Um, but I would like to have you back at some point to take us visually through a supermarket, why you go here, why you don't go down the cookie aisle, the potato chip aisle, but it like the beans or whatever. So our viewers can be more educated in terms of better health of how to prepare for them, not only cook for themselves, but for their family too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the education for people that really need it. I'm happy to participate in anything that will up that level of education and knowledge. I am working on doing more posts on my Instagram and LinkedIn pages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, More educational stuff like this, and something about beans or something about various food products, and like you said, how to avoid certain things in the supermarket. Yeah, I really have enjoyed this a lot. Thank you so much for the
And the
invite.
compliments are just really, really, really just amazing. And as Jazz says, this is invaluable information. I love all this knowledge. I do too. Janice, you are the best. I will have
Oh,
you back at some point within the next month and a half to take us through the supermarket aisles. So,
I sure
uh,
will.
and especially, I noticed a lot of us don't read labels. We just go grab a can, and like you said, you've been reading labels for about 20 something years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want you to help our viewers learn how to read labels for their own nutritional health because more and more I see things that says bioengineered ingredients. I don't know where this is or why this is, but and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
We didn't touch on, what are the alternatives to the supermarket, but I the first place I hit for my groceries is the farmers market. And any then and the organic market. And then if I can't get it in the organic market or in the farmers market, then I'm going to go to a regular grocery store.
okay.
Right.
Well,
And
we're
so
gonna,
people should be in that mindset of the grocery store is not the be all and end all of where to get my nutrition from.
so it's
Yeah.
farmers markets and organic markets primarily. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Now
And then,
the farmers market, you're going to save a ton of money because you go to the farmers market and stuff is cheap
yeah,
because those
yeah,
farmers want to sell those products.
yeah. And it's fresh grown too.
And it's fresh. It's fresher. It's cheaper. Especially if you know the farmer. A lot of times these farmers are organic, but they just haven't applied for the organic license. And so a lot of times they're growing their produce very cleanly, but just don't have that label.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a method to the madness, and we'll talk more about that.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you coming up wherever you go or eat. or whatever.
Yeah, I have 2 apple pies to make as my contribution, so I got my last of my apples today, and I'll be making those pies on Wednesday.
Okay, see now you was going to add, see now you have me thinking, well, what type of apples did you buy and how should it be
Oh, don't get me started on the
okay,
apple pie.
I know.
Thank
Janice,
you
God
again.
bless you. Hold on. I want to, and really mean this. And see, here's the beauty of it. She is making her phone number available for those of you who have questions where
Yes.
you can reach out to her. So this is rare to have a guest on whereby you can actually call her at 443-454-9051. Oh, and please, for to continue her research, please cash app her. Cash app her at $Janice, JANICAM 1206.
That's my birthday, Lloyd.
I know, I know. I was going to say that number sounds real familiar to me. And you know what's interesting? 6 is a health number. 6 is
Yes, it
nutritional
is.
number. So
Yep.
it is right up your alley. And I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough. This has been great. I really enjoyed this. And I have no apologies for keeping you way over schedule either. I really don't. I
No, I'm
really
glad we could make this happen today.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful holiday. And I'm going to just sign off by announcing my announcers. And let me see something. I need to put this on a ticker that Jazz taught me so I can make sure, even while I'm sponsoring, I think hopefully you can see it at the bottom. Yes. Okay. So this show has been brought to you by Recept. Yep, good. You can still see it at the bottom. So take note, take a phone number, send a donation so she can continue her research. But one of the supporters has been Recept. Just click on the QR code to get your discount. It's an AI service to use. Also, Numeralytics with Melinda Valentine. And please reach out to her for any services that you have. Also, because it's now we're in the sign of Sagittarius, which is fire. Pick up her journal at the Amazon. She has all 4 seasons, but since we're in the fire season, this is it. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn celebrating over 50 years in business at 1396 Fulton Street. Coming up in 2 weeks, they're going to have a event that's from yoga and sound bowl. That's probably with Kafunya, knowing her. That's from 9 to 10 a.m. But later that evening, they're going to have a party for the birthday girl, the owner of Monique Brooklyn herself, Monique. And we're going to have her on Thursday, December the 3rd. She promised she'll be here just before her birthday. That's at 1396 Fulton Street from 7 to 12 a.m. Also, Dr. Uchenna Hackett, his new book is out, Soul First, Mastering 24 Hours. And it is available on Amazon. It's also an ebook. Also, Miss Kimberly, who has published her book also on Amazon. Just go purchase the book, leave a review, screenshot it, send it in with your business name and incorporation date and whatnot, and she will send you a review. It's also available on ebook, where you get a companion book too, because it's Numbers Part 2. And also, the newsletter is out still for November. It's only a couple of days left. And if you want to, you can also view it on Kimberly, K-I. Oh, no, actually, when you go to Instagram, just KIMBALEY, and you can review it. And also, what you can also review is what we just completed, which is the 2026 yearly forecast. And by the way, to all my subscribers to the newsletter, you should be receiving between later today and no later than tomorrow it in actually a newsletter form, so you can see all of January, February, all the way through December. So it is a first for me. So it's a new edition. So you'll be getting the November newsletter, and you'll be getting the yearly newsletter, so you can be way ahead of the game. And you can also view it on live on Kimberly, KIMBALEY, at which you can view it now if you want to. So anyway, I think that's it. And by the way, I do want to thank Jazz, as always, for spending her valuable time. And please pick up her audiobook of Knocking from the Inside. All righty. So, everybody, I want to thank you. And everybody, have a good day. I'll see you on Wednesday. All righty. So, please take good care of yourselves. And this has been a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did too.